Hello there, I'm Muhammed, Ahmad Hamdan, and you're watching Nightline, news making the headlines. Don't use social media to argue, shame others, urge King. And France parliamentary election expected to end with historic far-right victory. Good morning. We begin with this headlining story. French voters turned out in large numbers for the second round of a parliamentary election on Sunday that could see the far-right National Rally RN emerge as the strongest force, severely denting President Emmanuel Macron's authority. According to the country's Interior Ministry, turnout stood at 59.71% by around 5 p.m. local time, up from 38.11% during the second round of voting in 2022. The latest opinions polls are forecasting that the RN will win most of the votes, but fall short of a majority, plunging the country into a chaotic hung parliament. If the nationalist, Eurosceptic RN did secure a majority, it would usher in France's first far-right government since World War II and send shockwaves through the European Union at a time when populist parties are strengthening support across the continent. Voting began across mainland France at 8 a.m. local time, with pollsters due to publish usually reliable seat projections as the last big city polling stations close at 8 p.m. The first round on June 30th saw RN taking the lead with around one-third of the vote, followed by the leftist coalition New Popular Front NFP, while Macron's centrist group came in third. Polling projections over the week suggest that RN is likely to have the most seats in the next National Assembly, which would be a historic first. If it wins an absolute majority of 289 seats, Macron would be expected to appoint RN President Jordan Bardella as France's new Prime Minister. Bardella could then form a government, and he and Macron would share power in a system called cohabitation. The outcome, however, remains uncertain because of a complex voting system and tactical maneuvers by political parties. RN's victory in the first round have also prompted over 200 rival candidates to withdraw from the race in a strategic move to block the far right. Meanwhile, the New Popular Front, NFP, a four-way left-wing alliance dominated by the radical left Unbowed Front, LFI, of Jean-Luc Mélenchon, was expected to win between 145 and 175 seats. The NFP has pledged to undo Macron's pension reform and introduce a swatch of heavy new taxes on individuals and corporations. However, the coalition has yet to announce a single candidate for the position of Prime Minister. Previously, Macron took a huge gamble in dissolving Parliament and calling for the elections after his centrists were trounced in European elections on June 9th. The president's centrist bloc has pledged to continue to deliver job creation through pro-business policies, rule out tax hikes for households, and link pensions to inflation and protect purchasing power. However, if support is further eroded for Macron's weak centrist majority, he will be forced to share power with parties opposed to most of his pro-business, pro-European Union policies. Meanwhile, voters in Chantilly were anxious to prevent the far-right from seizing power as they cast their ballots on Sunday.
Moi, il y a un parti politique que je ne peux pas accepter qui passe, c'est tout. C'est l'avenir, c'est notre avenir à nous, c'est aussi l'avenir des enfants.
Un peu craintif, on sent la pesanteur, enfin la tension des gens.
Soit le RN qui devienne majoritaire, alors là, et quelque part, je ne comprends pas. Je ne comprends pas complètement, je n'analyse pas complètement pourquoi des gens peuvent voter RN.
Back home, the young Di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim has reminded the public not to turn social media platforms into venues for arguments and shaming others, as these actions only contribute to discord and disunity. The king also cautioned against extremism, particularly regarding issues related to race and religion.
Dan jangan buka aib orang lain atau viralkan perkara yang memalukan, kerana ini semua akan menjadi punca perpecahan dan persekitaran.
Sultan Ibrahim said this in his royal address at the national level Ma'al Hijrah 2024 celebration in Putrajaya on Sunday. Raja Permaisuri Agung Raja Zarif Sofia, as well as Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and his wife Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail were also in attendance. Sultan Ibrahim also acknowledged the challenges faced by the public today amidst the unrestricted flow of information through social media, which is difficult to regulate. Therefore, His Majesty emphasized the importance for Malaysians to exercise caution when seeking religious knowledge on social media, ensuring that the content obtained is authentic and from authoritative sources. Now, Sultan Ibrahim has called for the government to enhance enforcement measures against deviant content, as well as to establish religious reference centres to disseminate accurate information and knowledge. His Majesty said this is because there is growing concern about the dissemination of misleading, inaccurate and misinterpreted information related to Islam, as well as teachings that deviate from true Islamic principles.
Jika orang dahulu belajar agama dengan membaca kitab dan mendengar kuliah di masjid, namun orang sekarang belajar agama secara online daripada ustazah Facebook dan ustazah TikTok.
Sultan Ibrahim also reminded Muslims to exercise discernment in distinguishing between right and wrong, emphasizing that the spread of inaccurate religious information via social media can lead to confusion, division and deviations from authentic religious practices. The King also called on all Malaysians, especially Muslims, to strengthen the spirit of brotherhood in shaping a united future generation for the country. Meanwhile, former Pulau Pinang Mufti Datuk Seri Hassan Ahmad was announced as this year's national-level Tokoh Ma'al Hijrah. At the event, International Union of Muslim Scholars President Professor Dr. Ali Muhyiddin Ali Al-Qaradaghi was also named the Ma'al Hijrah International Icon. Sultan Ibrahim presented the awards, comprising a cash prize, certificate and trophy to both recipients in recognition of their contributions to the development of the Ummah and the spread of Islamic teachings. The Prime Minister said the unity government will intensify efforts to champion the Rakyat struggle and realise the agenda of elevating the dignity and status of the people and the nation. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim also pledged that his government would continue to strengthen unity in implementing policies and initiatives that align with today's realities in the country. In a Facebook post on Sunday, Anwar, who is also Pakatan Harapan chairman, said that he humbly acknowledged the voice of the Sungai Bakap constituents following the coalition's defeat in the state by-election on Saturday. He noted that the polls occurred while the country is undergoing a period of adjustment, with significant changes being actively implemented under the new direction of the Madani government. Perikatan Nasional retained the Sungai Bakap state seat after its candidate Abidin Ismail won with a majority of 4,267 votes. Abidin secured a total of 14,489 votes, defeating his challenger from PH, Dr. Johari Arifin, who garnered 10,222 votes. The issue of cyberbullying on social media platforms will be presented to the Cabinet on Friday to find the best solution, including legal and enforcement aspects. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadil said this was at the request of Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim following the recent death of a TikTok influencer who allegedly committed suicide due to severe cyberbullying. Fahmi stated that the victim's family has lodged a police report and the ministry has been in contact with TikTok, which expressed its willingness to cooperate more proactively to address the issue. He added that the main problem in dealing with cyberbullying is that most perpetrators hide behind fake accounts, making it hard to identify the individuals who made the abusive comments.
Yang kita akan lapor ke Jemaah Menteri bukan sekadar insiden apa yang berlaku, tapi dari aspek perundangan, sekiranya ada sebarang akta ataupun undang-undang yang boleh ataupun perlu kita tambah baik, maka ini akan menjadi fokus. Maksudnya kita akan teliti aspek pengkuasaan.
He told this to reporters after visiting the family of the TikTok influencer in Gombak Setia, Kuala Lumpur on Sunday. The body of the 29-year-old female content creator was found in her home at about 11 a.m. last Friday. A tragic loss has profoundly impacted her family.
Pasal TikTok tu kita sudah hilang adik saya. Kita anak sulung, kita punya anak sulung sudah hilang.
After the final rites ceremony, the deceased was laid to rest at the Ampang Ulu Kelang Hindu Cemetery. Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad confirmed that Malaysia has sent a diplomatic note to the United Nations UN to stress the country's sovereignty following the Philippines' claim towards Sabah. He added that the diplomatic note explained that the country's sovereignty encompassed Sabah and Sarawak as enshrined in the federal constitution.
Filipina membuat nota, kita pun buat nota. Ini hubungan diplomatik begitulah. Kita buat nota juga kepada pihak bangsa-bangsa bersatu. Kerana ada nota daripada pihak Filipina menyatakan bahawa dia mengambil kira sempadan laut melalui daripada Sabah. Jelas sekali kalau itu menjadi dia punya asas ukuran dia, maka bermakna mereka kata Sabah itu mereka punya.
Muhammed, also known as Tokmat, added that it had yet to be determined whether the matter would be taken to the International Court of Justice, ICJ. The Rembau Member of Parliament also hopes that the issue will not affect bilateral relations between Malaysia and the Philippines. International disputes over Sabah had occurred several times before, involving not only the submission of diplomatic notes, but also legal action and armed incursions. The Education Ministry MOE will be conducting a re-evaluation of the physical activity, sports and co-curriculum assessment or PAJSK data for 2023 CJL Pelajaran Malaysia SPM graduates whose non-academic activity scores were omitted from their overall result, affecting their university applications. The ministry said the data will be handed to the Central University Admission Unit UPU to match these students to the relevant subjects and programs for them to further their studies, subject to the candidates' qualifications and program availability. In a statement, the MOE said that it takes the issue seriously and is conducting a detailed investigation into the matter. The ministry added that it is also implementing intervention measures to ensure that the issue is promptly resolved and does not recur in the future. SPM graduates who applied for places in higher education institutions through the UPU system were supposed to have the merit score calculation include 10% of the sports and co-curriculum score in addition to the exam results. However, it was reported that the PAJSK scores for some SPM graduates were left empty, resulting in the students either failing their university applications or not receiving their desired courses or programs. Floods and landslides killed more than a dozen in Nepal. This and more from the foreign front when we return.
Awak yang anak pakcik imam yang budak tahfiz tu kan?
Saya cadang sebenarnya nak buka kelas agama kat kampung ni.
Dan dibimbinglah orang-orang kampung kita ni. Ayah tengok dah makin pelik. Percaya dengan perkara-karut. Mama kenalkan bakal menantu ibu.
Nenek ada mewarisi saka.
Bobo sana, bobo sini. Awak tu tak menentukan siri.
Malam tu start snow shower. Itu yang buatkan arwah ni makin lama makin lemah. Dan saya pun pusing kat dia. Lepas tu tengok dia macam tu je. Tak apa cakap. Dia kata Allahu Akbar Joy.
Saya dah bersusah sungguh. Tu bawa Haji turun. Biarkan daya kalau lebih sayang katnya.
Sesat ialah satu keadaan di mana individu ataupun kumpulan hilang arah ataupun panduan ketika bergerak di dalam hutan. Bila kita nampak pesawat je, kita akan campak daun hidup ni supaya asap akan naik tinggi.
Foreign news. Tokyo's first female governor, Yuriko Koike, secured a third term on Sunday, solidifying her position as Japan's first female governor of its largest city. According to an exit poll, Koike beat a record 55 challengers and garnered over 40% of the vote, securing a commanding lead. Minutes after the poll projected her victory, Koike showed up at her campaign headquarters and celebrated by thanking the voters who chose her. The 71-year-old will now hold the position for another 4 years, overseeing Japan's most populous city and its largest municipal budget. Voting began at 7 a.m. local time at about 1,800 polling stations in Tokyo and closed at 8 p.m. The vote on Sunday was also seen as a test for Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's governing party, which supports the first woman to lead the Tokyo city government. At least 41 people have been killed after heavy rains triggered flash floods and landslides across Nepal, with disaster teams working with other agencies and locals to locate 9 more individuals who are either missing or have been killed across multiple locations. Those missing were believed to be buried in landslides of floods. Officials at the same time are trying to clear the landslides and reopen blocked roads using large machinery. Parts of Nepal have been receiving heavy rainfall since Thursday, prompting disaster management authorities in the Himalayan nation to warn of flash floods in multiple rivers. Rescue operations continue on Sunday after at least 7 people were killed and 15 others injured in a building collapse in India. The 6-story building collapsed in Sachin Pali village in Surat on Saturday afternoon, following several days of incessant rain in the region. According to the National Disaster Response Force, the operations resumed as teams tried to clear the debris following the collapse. However, it is unclear how many people were still trapped. As the search operation progressed, 1 dead body was found around 9:30 p.m. on Saturday, raising the death toll to 7 by Sunday morning. The building, which was approximately 8 years old, housed textile workers and their families in rented apartments. 2 Hamas officials on Sunday said the group is waiting for a response from Israel on its ceasefire proposal. According to one of the officials, Hamas has left their response with the mediators and are now waiting to hear the occupation's response. Meanwhile, another Palestinian official with knowledge of the ceasefire deliberations said Israel was now in talks with the Qataris. Qatar is reported to have discussed Hamas's response with Israel and promised to give Hamas the occupation's response within days. On another note, the Palestinian Health Ministry said at least 16 people were killed and more than 50 were wounded in a Zionist strike on a school sheltering displaced Palestinian families in central Gaza on Saturday. Kai-Sing Aaron failed to end 7-year title drought. Sports when we come back.
Jenayah rentas sempadan dipantau. Kawalan ketat demi menghalang penceroboh.
Lapor keadaan baik dan terkawal, Abah.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Berpaut pada jalan cerita yang sama.
Dalam masa 3 bulan, korang kahwin.
No way.
Mana ada pengantin lari? Pengantin perempuan dah hilang.
Bukan jodoh kami berdua ni.
Menyatukan jiwa yang selama ini saling mencari.
Awak jangan nak kutuk-kutuk saya.
Kalau tak,
Yelah, tiada besar, baru awak nak kahwin balik.
tapi tak jadi kan?
Pengantin pasti jadi. Mulai 11 Julai, Khamis hingga Sabtu 9 malam. Terbaru di Lestari TV3. Dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports. The 2024 Badminton Asia Junior Championships. National top boys doubles Kang Kai-sing and Aaron Tai's hopes of ending the country's 7-year title drought was dashed by China's Hu Ke-yuan Lin Xiangyi on Sunday. Despite being ranked world number 1 in the junior category, Kai-sing Aaron was stunned by the 5th seeds in straight sets, losing 13-21, 11-21 in the 33-minute finals. This was the third meeting between the pairs, with the Malaysians having won both previous encounters. Nonetheless, the Asia Junior Silver is still a good result for Kai-sing Aaron, who have won 2 titles this year. Men's singles shuttler Leong Junhao was the last national shuttler to clinch the Asian Junior title in 2017, while the last boys pair to emerge victorious was Mak Hee-chun Teo Kok Siang in 2008. Moving on to football, the 2024 Euro. After so many painful setbacks from the spot, England embraced a shootout on Sunday as they beat Switzerland 5-3 on penalties after a 1-0 draw to reach the last 4. After a goalless first half, Brillambola broke the deadlock in the 75th minute for Switzerland when he slotted home Dan Ndoye's low cross. The Three Lions, however, fought back and found the equaliser 5 minutes later through Bukayo Saka, who unleashed a pinpoint low shot into the bottom corner. The 1-1 scoreline remained unchanged until extra time, sending both teams to penalty shootout to find the winner. In the shootout, Jordan Pickford emerged strong and saved Manuel Akanji's spot kick before Trent Alexander-Arnold slammed home the decisive last of a faultless 5 to seal the victory for England. The win propels Gareth Southgate's side into their 3rd semi-finals, where they will face Netherlands. Still on football, the 2024 Copa America, James Rodriguez delivered another top-class performance as Colombia dismantled Panama 5-0 on Sunday to march into the semi-finals. John Cordoba outmuscled his marker to head in a corner and give Colombia the lead in the 8th minute before Captain Rodriguez extended their lead 5 minutes later by smashing home a penalty following a foul on John Arias inside the box. The Los Cafeteros made it 3-0 just before the interval when Luis Diaz lobbed his shot over Panama's goalkeeper following a quick free kick by Rodriguez. Nestor Lorenzo's side bagged another goal in the 70th minute when Richard Rios rifled in a low drive from range. The final goal came in stoppage time when Miguel Borja converted another penalty kick, sealing the dominant 5-0 win for Colombia. Colombia will play in the semi-finals against Uruguay, who beat Brazil 4-2 on penalties after a goalless draw. And on to tennis now, the 2024 Wimbledon Championships. 7-times champion Novak Djokovic shrugged off a slow start to power pass unseeded Alexei Popyrin in 4 sets to advance into the 4th round on Sunday. Despite losing the first set 4-6, the world number 2 clawed his way back in the next 3 sets to overcome the Australian 6-3, 6-4, 7-6. The Serbian, who arrived at Wimbledon weeks after having surgery on his right knee, is set to face 15th seeded Holger Rune. In the women's singles, world number 1 Iga Świątek, who clocked up her 5th Grand Slam title last month, was beaten 6-3, 1-6, 2-6 by Yulia Putintseva in the 3rd round as she again struggled on grass. Świątek will next enter the 2024 Paris Olympics, where she is expected to challenge for a gold medal. Veteran film director dies in road accident. The details after this short break.
Kau dah sembang dengan awet aku macam-macam. Kau ingat aku tak tahu.
3 daripada 4 tertuduh yang didakwa membunuh pensyarah universiti
meninggal pula dalam keadaan yang tragis.
Mayat telah pun dibakar.
Get ready, ladies. It's time to shatter the stereotype. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smiles. This talk show is all about you. Catch Women Talk every Saturdays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Stream also on Tonton.
Welcome back. Local film director and critic Mansur Puteh has died in a road accident at Jalan Alam Damai in Cheras, Kuala Lumpur on Sunday morning. His remains were later laid to rest at Durian Daun Muslim Cemetery in Malacca. Earlier, Mansur's body was brought to the Chancellor Tuanku Mukhris Hospital for post-mortem. Police said the 70-year-old was driving alone towards Taman Lengseng from Taman Alam Damai when his car skidded and crashed into a divider in the 10:10 a.m. incident. In addition to his contributions to the film industry, Mansur was honoured as the country's second highest blood donor in 2021 and was recognised for donating blood 500 times in 2018. In Pahang, a motorcyclist was killed while an 84-year-old pedestrian was critically injured in a hit-and-run accident involving two vehicles around 6:50 a.m. in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday. In the incident, the senior citizen was crossing a road when he was knocked down by a motorcyclist, leaving both individuals lying on the road before they were run over by a speeding car. The accident occurred at Jalan Lipis Merapoh near Kampung Kecui Tua. Based on a 1-minute footage from a nearby CCTV camera, the motorcycle was heading to Kuala Lumpur from Merapoh when it crashed into the senior citizen. The car driver who ran over the two victims was then seen briefly stopping the vehicle before fleeing the scene. Lipis Police Chief Superintendent Ismail Man said the motorcyclist, 25-year-old Zaiful Said, died on the spot, while the senior citizen was rushed to Kuala Lumpur Hospital for treatment and is reported to be in critical condition. Police are currently tracking down the car driver and investigating the case under the Road Transport Act for causing death by reckless or dangerous driving. In Selangor, 6 motorcyclists, all locals in their 20s, were nabbed for being involved in illegal racing during a joint traffic operation dubbed Op Samsing Jalanan at Persiaran Raja Muda Musa in Klang early Sunday morning. 3 others were also arrested for riding under the influence of alcohol. The 3 a.m. operation involved 69 officers and personnel from the Selangor Contingent Police Headquarters and Klang Selatan District Police Headquarters. A total of 125 motorcycles as well as 150 individuals aged between 15 and 30 were inspected. During the operation, several motorcyclists tried to evade arrest by riding against the flow of traffic. However, the attempt failed as the area was already surrounded by authorities. A total of 200 summonses were issued for various offences, including not having a valid driver's licence and expired road tax. All those detained were being investigated under the Road Transport Act. Right, as Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look as volleyball players from different countries took a floating court in Slovenia to play their sport in unusual surroundings. The event, named Volleyball on Water, was hosted by the country's capital Ljubljana, with the court partially submerged and sitting a few centimetres beneath the surface of the city's river. With that, I'm Muhammed Hamdan. Thanks for tuning in and be safe.